Welcome to Copenhagen Fashion Week and our studio in Stockholm. My name is Johan Wirfält, and joining me for this talk is the iconic Swedish fashion brand Filippa K. Hello and welcome to Jodi, Everding, Sustainability Manager, and Doreen, Chiang, the Buying Manager at Filippa K. Great to have you here. So Fashion Week in Copenhagen is all about sustainability, an area where Scandinavian fashion is in the global avant-garde. You're here today to discuss how resource efficiency can make fashion more sustainable, especially at the very beginning of the production cycle. So more specifically, we'll talk about how Filippa K is working to change the mohair industry. And together with Acne Studios, which is another Swedish fashion brand, and the retail chain John Lewis, you have created something called the Responsible Mohair Standard. And let's get into the details of this soon. But first, can you just give us some background on where Filippa K is as a company now? Winter, spring 2021?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been through this pandemic, so adjusting to that, working in new ways, really focusing on fewer but better products, which really fits with our original foundation of creating these timeless classic garments that last for a really long time. And pushing forward, like we'll talk about with the mohair standard and also other certifications within our products.
And just last week, it was revealed that you have a new CEO, Richard Frost, who's actually an old friend of mine, joining you from Alexander Wang.
Yeah, we are so excited. I mean, it's been quite a search. So I think it's he brings such interesting experience from the digital side of things, and also with a focus on some global expansion as well. And it's really nice he's coming back to Stockholm.
Yeah, excellent. We can't wait to have him here.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at your new collection then, the spring collection, what are the key themes in that?
Yeah, I think it's working with a lot of natural materials, mixed with some of our favorites like triacetate that we source from Japan. A lot of sustainable focuses in our materials, but also, again, these timeless designs so that you can buy something from our spring collection and wear it with something you bought from us in the 90s or early 2000s, and it all sits really well together.
And I think also probably having a curated wardrobe, and that's what we are.
Yeah.
That's what we aim to have, to create something
fewer but better.
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, the theme of sustainability is not only one of sort of the pillars of this Fashion Week in Copenhagen. It's probably one of the most talked about subject in the fashion industry today. So why is this so important to Filippa K as a brand?
Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, I can start. I mean, I think we have been trying to source sustainably for a really long time, and then you get into what is sustainability and how do you sort of measure it or judge it on a more global scale. And I think that's what we work toward with this standard, or any of these standards and these certifications, to have a sort of third-party verification that things are produced and sourced in a more sustainable way.
Yep. And I also, when we looked at mohair, we were trying to figure out, is there a better alternative to mohair? If there isn't, then what can we do with the existing one? How do we work towards it to make a better one? So that's why we decided to contact, the industry also to see what kind of help and what we can do to contribute to it.
Yeah.
We can also add too, like, we're not a vegan brand.
No.
Like Doreen said, we love mohair. Our customers really appreciate our mohair and our other wools. So it's making sure we can produce it in a more sustainable way, and no better alternative out there, huh?
Yeah. So you're launching this Responsible Mohair Standard. I think maybe just for those who might not know, I mean, what is actually mohair? I mean, I assume it comes from goats, right? But tell us a little more about this.
People sometimes, it's from a goat called the mohair goat, and sometimes mohair is referred to as the diamond fiber because it is luxurious. It has extremely good luster and silkiness and shine to it. So that's why one of the reasons this is a good fiber for us. It goes very well with what we want to achieve in our collection. And we've been working with mohair for a long time, many years. So there is also another good reason why we want to continue supporting, and it lifts also the collection to another level instead of a wool. It complements each other.
I can add to that too, just to put it in the bigger perspective as well and why we went for it. It's like there are a lot of big industrialized farms out there. And what happened with mohair and same with some other animal fibers is there will be a couple of really bad players out there that sort of ruin it for everybody. And we had been working with smaller people as well and didn't want the whole mohair industry to be punished for one or two bad players out there.
Yeah.
And so can you give us some sort of general background on this project? I mean, you started it with Acne Studios and John Lewis, right? And how did it all come about?
Yeah, I mean, it all came about also when we, of course, knew that, mohair industry, there are things to be done there also. And with the coverage, we also realized that, I mean, we can't continue as we are. So what we did was we decided to create a little networking here in Sweden with the Swedish brands that we're working with close collaboration. So they were also in the same situation in the sense that they want to do something with the mohair because they love it too and they want to continue working with it. So we decided to get together, put our brains together and see what we can do to push forward. And we contacted the different, stakeholders and we then worked together with them towards this responsible mohair standard, giving our feedback, what we need as a brand also.
And in practical terms, what does this mean? Because most of the production of mohair is in South Africa, I've gathered. So are you working basically with the South African farmers then to do this, or what? How does it work?
What I can say is that 50% of the world's production of mohair comes from South Africa. And what we are sourcing from is coming from South Africa. So with the responsible mohair standard they work with 5 freedoms and land management and also the traceability, which makes us able to see when we use it, we are able to see where the fiber is coming from down to the farm level.
Mm-hmm. And so is this also then a way to sort of help local farmers in their
Definitely.
businesses? Or?
Yeah, because in South Africa, they have around about 900 mohair farms. Mm-hmm. So both big and small ones. And a lot of them are small and they're spread very far out across the whole country. So it is a good way for us to be able to see which farmers we're working with and how we can trace them back later on.
Mm. And which have been the biggest challenges in the project?
Okay, I'll take this.
Yeah, take it.
Have you been working on the ground with it? Or?
I've been working. I'm working very much on the grounds with it. So the challenges are big because it took time for everyone to realize it is not easy to work with a standard that is so stringent. But at the same time, the country is big, but South Africa has a very good team in place. The Mohair South Africa organization that is there to enable and help the industry standards. They are able to make sure that they ensure the sustainability and ethical aspects are being maintained. So with them, they're able to track and they are using whatever they can out in the fields to contact with the farmers, and they have, farmer workshops, and then the veterinary is out, checking on the farms, and the auditors too. So it is a big endeavor and a huge commitment from their side. Mm. And plus, they have a very progressive attitude, which makes this mohair standard being able to escalate so fast and with such great success also.
Mm-hmm. Moving forward with the project, and what are your goals?
Yeah, I think it sits with, like Doreen mentioned, our traceability goals that we have for our company, that we'll have full traceability on all of our styles by 2030. And we work with a blockchain partner called Trust Trace there. But in order to help us get there, we're certifying more and more of our products. So this responsible mohair standard files under a responsible wool standard, and then there's other animal standards and recycled standards, organic cotton standards. So this year, we as a brand will become certified in those, so we'll be able to certify our products. But like you hear, it's a lot of work outside of us. It's within our supply chain and making sure that we have that full traceability, that all of the actors and stakeholders are also certified and working according to the standards.
Yeah. And for people watching who might not be like industry insiders, can you explain, if you take sort of the whole supply chain, can you explain why these standards and certificates are important? Why does it matter?
I mean, because otherwise you can't trust a claim. And same for us as a brand, we need to make sure that when a supplier tells us that this is in fact organic cotton, that it is fully traced through every step of the supply chain back to the farm in that case, so that there's no funny business and it is what people buy out there. It is actually what we say it is.
Yeah. So you can maybe compare it to like a refrigerator or something. You need to know that whatever small part in making your sort of food cold actually works.
Yeah, exactly. And I think and the other layer on that is then why those standards are in place. It's like, so we are controlling the chemicals. We are like land management and good animal care, all these things that people are concerned about and want to make sure that they're putting their money toward. That's why we certify.
I mean, these standards are always verified by a third party, so it is an independent verification on it. And together with Textile Exchange, and they're able to drive this forward. Yes.
I mean, this year and also last year in fashion has obviously been very different because of the pandemic. Effects on the fashion industry calendar have been monumental. A lot of fashion weeks have been cancelled in Copenhagen. Now it's sort of like a hybrid digital physical fashion week. But looking ahead, where do you see the industry going, and do you think that there are some key insights to be taken, to be brought out from the pandemic or this current situation and moving forward?
Like a couple of things come to mind, and one is having really strong partnerships with key suppliers, because it sort of became this whole like global, we had to get through it together and we had to figure out new ways, and that meant having these good supplier partnerships in place. But also, I think both from consumers and from brands, we've all been forced to slow down. And then you realize you don't need to speed up. So we've always been working with slow fashion and questioning why we produce, how much we produce. But even for our brand, it's really made us focus on it even more. With this fewer but better, we reduced our assortment by 40-50%. And we didn't feel it even. I mean, it's really quality products. So I think that go forward, hopefully people will continue to keep it in slow motion a little bit.
And personally, how does that feel for you? Is it less stressful working now then? Or
I would say yes and no.
Yeah.
It's a different way of working, and we have to adjust and adapt to it also. And the good thing is we learn new stuff, being more maybe technically savvy. I don't know, I haven't been there yet, not reaching that yet, but it's a way of communicating, also, having this relationship with our suppliers and everyone in the supply chain. It is a new way to work with it, but it's a challenge that we're up for.
We're also, I think, because we reduced the assortment a bit, we also look at a lot of our secondhand and pre-love Filippa K products as well. So making sure we get those back and get those out there, because there's a lot of good stuff that was already produced in this world and has value. So make sure we look at that too. Yeah,
excellent. And also, finally, speaking of mohair, are you wearing mohair?
I'm wearing. This will be one of our first certified mohair products. So fall 21.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. And then I should tell our viewers, because this is a black and white stream, but it's sort of like a bright red.
It is bright, yeah.
Excellent.
So you can stand out and be proud about your certified mohair.
Great, but thank you so much, Jodi and Doreen, and thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of Copenhagen Fashion Week.
Thank you.
Thank you.